In the attempt to make a website as accessible as possible, as fast as possible, some companies resort to using accessibility overlays. But the hard truth is that these overlays suck harder than a vacuum cleaner on steroids. If you don't know what an accessibility overlay is, it's a lazy solution that some companies use to make their websites accessible. How do you know if the site you're visiting is using an accessibility overlay? You'll see one of these icons in the corner of the website. Let's check out a couple of examples. Here's Accessibility, and in the corner of the site on the bottom right, there is an accessibility icon. Now, what happens if I click on this? Well, we get this popping up. Basically slap a layer of code over top of the existing site that attempts to fix any accessibility issue. But here's the thing. Overlays aren't just lazy. They're not effective. In fact, they can actually make things worse. Instead of taking the time to make their websites accessible from the very beginning, companies are like, I'll just add an accessibility overlay and make it look like I care. Well, guess what? That's not good enough. Overlays are like putting a band-aid on a gunshot wound. It might cover up the problem temporarily, but it's not gonna fix it in the long run. And I get it. I get why they're so tempting. To those who don't need to use accessibility settings or alternative means of interaction, overlays seem to offer a practical and beneficial solution to poorly coded and designed websites. I get it. But their practical value is way overstated. The end users that these overlays claim to serve, they're already gonna have measures in place on their system, in their browser, to make things more accessible for them. Think about this for a second. If the overlay features and widgets were necessary to use that website, they would be necessary for all websites, but they aren't. At best, overlays are redundant functionality compared to what the user already has. And that means the overlay can cause new accessibility issues, making it even harder for people living with disabilities to use that website. That's not just bad design. That's downright irresponsible. Some overlay companies also offer automated code repair as a way to make a site more accessible. And you can guess from my face how I feel about that. Some things can be fixed that way, but, and it is a big but, the accuracy of those fixes is limited. Automated application of text alternatives is unreliable. Automated repair of field labels, error management, error handling, and focus control in forms is unreliable. Automated repair of keyboard access, unreliable. Like, can you see a pattern? Repairs to the page can either slow down the load time of the website or cause unexpected page changes. Also worth noting is that overlays don't repair content in Flash, Java, Silverlight, PDFs, HTML5, Canvas, SVG, or media files. So none of these overlays can just automatically make it fully compliant. Accessibility overlays are like a game of whack-a-mole. You fix one problem and another pops up. So there's this guy named Patrick Purdue, and he is a ham radio enthusiast. He's also blind. And the website that he went to get all of his ham radio equipment started using Accessibility because they wanted to make their website more compliant. Except there's a little bit of a problem there because instead of making the site more accessible and fixing the inaccessible code, it reformatted the page and some of the components on it, which ended up hiding the checkout and the shopping cart buttons from the screen reader. So he couldn't get what he was there to get because it was no longer accessible after the accessibility overlay was applied. These are some of the claims made by various overlay companies. AudioEye, ADA and WCAG compliance plan on day one. Accessibility, paste a single line of JavaScript code on your website. In up to 48 hours, your website is accessible and compliant. EqualWeb, just insert one line of code and we do the rest. And UserWay, get compliant and avoid lawsuits with only a single line of code. UserWay's solutions provide full WCAG and ADA compliance from day one and every single day thereafter. No, that's not how it works. So if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Here's the kicker. Accessibility overlays can get you in some pretty hot water. Companies who use accessibility overlays have been hit with lawsuits just about 600 times in 2022. That's a 36% increase over 2021. So it's just getting worse. So not only are accessibility overlays lazy and unreliable, you can find yourself on the receiving end of a lawsuit as well. So what's the solution? It's simple. Doesn't sound simple, but it's simple. Do it right from the beginning. If you're designing a website, take the time to make it accessible from the get-go. Don't rely on a band-aid solution, because at the end of the day, accessibility isn't just about compliance. It's about doing the right thing. Remember, accessible design isn't a chore, it's a responsibility. So until next time, stay snarky, but stay accessible.